Hey everyone, I'm Michael Seiger, publisher of DomainSherpa.com, and this is the Domain Sherpa Review. This is the show where we get into the minds of successful domain name investors using real examples so we can learn strategies and tactics. Our sponsors include nichewebsites.com, a service that builds and ranks websites so you can focus on your business. Estibot.com, a domain name appraisal tool that we use on this show to gather data about all the domains we discuss. And DNX.com, a reverse auction domain name marketplace where buy it now prices decrease over time. All three sponsors have links in the upper right hand corner of all pages on DomainSherpa.com. Joining us today on the Domain Sherpa Review are four past Sherpas and thought leaders. In order from left to right, we have Adam Dicker, CEO of DNForum.com, nichewebsites.com, and publisher of theartofthename.com. Michael Berkens, publisher of TheDomains.com, co-founder of Right of the Dot, and founder of the marketplace MostWantedDomains.com. Paige Howe, founder and president of JoeDomains.com and DomainOutlet.com. And Rick Schwartz, the Domain King and co-founder of the Traffic Domain Industry Conference. Gentlemen, welcome to this week's show.
Thanks, Michael.
Hey.
As always, we have three sections to the show. We're going to go over a portfolio review, we're going to review a marketplace list from NameJet, and we'll wrap it up with our available or registered game. But today's show is going to be slightly different. Every week for the past few months, we've heard from the Sherpas what they think about the valuable domains on user-submitted portfolios. But today, we're going to see what these four successful domain name investors have been buying over the past 2 weeks. The tables are turned. You know, it's easy for new investors to say, heck, these guys on the Domain Sherpa Review have been buying domains since the 1990s, so of course they have phenomenal domains. If they had to start today, they'd be stuck in this buying the same domains that I do. Well, today we're going to find out. It's going to be a fascinating show. I thank the Sherpas in advance for opening up their purchases, opening up their kimono, per se, so that we can learn from them. So let's get right into it. I asked each of the Sherpas to record any domain names they purchased between January 12th and January 26th, 2014, as well as their purchase price and any other notes that they wanted to take on the purchases. I was only going to take a sampling of the domains and share them, but people might think that I'm cherry-picking the best or the worst ones to try and make it look like a certain way like they do on those reality shows on TV. So the full lists are below, with one exception. Rick's list included only 127 names because he purchased 390. But if you want to see all 390 and hear the entire thought process of Rick, we're going to do a sort of an abridged thought process from each of the Sherpas today. But if you want to hear the entire thought process, check out Monday's interview with Rick Schwartz. We're going to go through his entire portfolio in detail. All right, if you're watching the show today on YouTube, click on the link in the description so you can look at all of the domains that we're discussing today. I'm going to ask each of the four Sherpas to take a few minutes to walk us through their purchases, including their investment philosophy, why they selected these domains, their favorite of the list maybe, and how they plan on selling them, or if they just plan to sit on them and wait until offers come to them. Adam Dicker, let's start with you. Can you walk us through your general investment philosophy with these domains that you purchased over the past 2 weeks?
Sure. First of all, I used my last name, so we're getting awfully formal here. All right.
The first time I say it.
So no problem. 3D Print Service. That was the name we mentioned last week on NameJet. I like it because it's 3D printing related. 3D printing's big, and we just talked before the show that I have an offer on 4dprinter.net, and I've got a lot of 3D and 4D printer names. So I like it. I think it's going to have some value down the road. Niche Website I bought because my company, Niche Websites, is fairly large and growing and building hundreds of sites a month. So I decided to grab that one. $3,500 is a good share to grab it. I've already started building a new, different website design company on that thing. Different look, same button, same everything else, and it's good. Waivers, I have a lawyer who was interested in buying it, and instead I'm just going to send him leads. Home Office, I want to do a really good site, a big, huge, detailed authority site for people that are working at home and have home offices, because I think it's great. Marriage and death certificate, a little birdie told me that getting certificates like marriage and death certificates is a good idea. And I found doing some market testing that I could get $150 for people that lost their marriage certificate or their death certificate that need it for something else. And my cost is only about $20, $25 in Canada. So I'm going to build those out into businesses. I tend to buy domains where I can have businesses. Thornhill is a large city it's between where I live, Richmond Hill, and Toronto. The government owns all the .ca names, so I have richmondhill.com, but I can't get .ca because it's owned by the government. Well, they forgot about Thornhill, and somebody dropped it. So everybody was looking for it, and we grabbed it. And I've already got an offer on it for about $50K. So we'll see what happens with that. Electric generator, it's a business. Pinworms has a good affiliate program on ClickBank. Hair conditioners is a product. Penis enlargements, I don't know why, but everyone's always looking for those. Septic system, it's a big thing. Online resumes are big. Electric fireplaces are big. Bill collector jobs, any job-related ones or consultant-related ones I really like. Atheist funerals, just playing around, I thought it'd be interesting. I don't really know what that would be. Divorce Your Diva, it's the one that I think they're going to say it's useless. But I liked it because it's a brandable. I think it'd be good for a divorce lawyer who's dealing with higher-end clients. It's just brandable. Gossip shows for $9, I couldn't resist. Sex crime registry, being in the reputation repair, and it's a .com. I liked it. And then tablet printer and tablet printers, man, everything's going to tablets. So I've got tablet printer and tablet printers, and I know they're going to be selling them as tablet printers. So for $10, I couldn't resist. So I like all those. I think they'll pick on me for gossip shows, Divorce Your Diva, and Atheist funerals. We'll see how it goes.
All right, we're going to go to the other three Sherpas first. So I noticed there's a lot of .cas. Your general philosophy, investment philosophy, Adam, how do you pick these names? How in the 2 weeks that you did these, or 1 week, because some of us were at NamesCon, how did you determine that these were the names that you were going to buy?
Well, so first of all, on a couple of them, somebody approached me and I cherry-picked his portfolio. On another one, they were like pinworms and hair conditioners and penis enlargement, septic system. Those were all in drops. And listen, for $60 with nobody competing against me on a septic system, it's great. Hair conditioners too. Somebody's going to want it. CAs are really picking up. So, I mean, I do like to spend a lot on CAs. I've got probably one of the best portfolios in .ca, and I continue to build it up. So for me, it's a natural because I'm in Canada. I mean,
and do you look at the drop lists, everything that's dropping, and say, okay, those are real words, I like them? Or do you look at, do you have filters that say, give me domains that have so much search volume or so many search results in Google or anything like that? How does that typically work?
For the CAs, I've got a tool that I developed, and I filter through them, and it pulls out one-worders, two-worders, and three-worders. And then I look at those, and it pulls out short domains and things like that. And then I also look through them manually if I have time to determine. There's only about 6,000 CAs that drop, and they only drop once a week, so it's not that tedious. Whereas the comms and everything else, it's like 60,000 a day. So we'll see. And I did get an interesting one yesterday that's not on the list. It's bankruptcyattorneys.com, but it's spelled B-A-N-C instead of B-A-N-K, but it gets a lot of traffic because people can't spell it.
All right, pages dropped off. On gossipshows.com and sexcrimeregistry.com, those were $9. Were those hand registrations by you, Adam?
Yes, they were.
So you just thought them up and decided to register them?
No, I'm on this list that's put out, and somebody sends me available names, and if you take them, you got to send them $2 per name.
Gotcha.
And so I did that, and those were on there.
Gotcha. All right. And you answered it. Most of these are either Canadian related, and you live up in Canada, so you're watching the Canadian market, or they're businesses that you want to develop out. So it's clear what your investment.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely, and I agree with Rick on most of this stuff. And I saw his post recently about don't lease domains you can sell, or don't sell domains you can lease. But I agree that you're far better off buying domains that are businesses. And that's how I look at them, that I can develop on a business, or his subdomain stuff, which I think is really good as well. So, yeah, it's good. It's great.
Cool. All right, Mike Berkens, let's go to you. Can you walk us through your purchases? You don't need to go through all of them because you have a few more than Adam, unless you feel like you want to, and talk about your general investment philosophy.
Yeah, sure. I'm trying to actually get a plug brought in before my computer dies, so sorry about that.
No worries.
But anyway, yeah, so, I mean, just a couple of thoughts. I mean, I was at NamesCon, so, these were really all acquired, within, after NamesCon, and I also had my little wifey's birthday, so I actually took a few more days off
So
before
your list
the
would have been
weekend. So
twice as long or 3 times as long as this if you would
yeah,
have had more time.
yeah, that's correct. It's not, but it wouldn't be indicative of a typical 2-week period. It's a
Gotcha.
little shorter. So having said that. So basically, what I'm looking for are either sort of brandable names, words that are used in commerce or in language, or of things that are products or services that are somewhat known.
Mhm.
So I try to stay away from sort of made-up words, although I know there's a market for it, or a set of letters that become something pronounceable but is not known, or it's not in a dictionary, it's not anywhere, it's made up.
Mhm.
So I try to avoid those, and so that takes me to the list I put together. Um, there's and I've made notes by each of them. These are all names that I got on the drop, so there's no hand-registered names. There's no third-party sales. So for better or worse, they're just drop names that were dropped to different services and therefore have different prices. A few of the names were obviously went to a drop auction. Things like site maintenance, concierge online, ship autos, and file electronically were all in auctions at one of the auction houses. So Concierge Online, which I guess is the one about ship autos, Concierge Online was the second highest price name that I bought, and I probably wouldn't have bought it except for Dot Online coming on board and it being, theoretically or supposedly the second highest, back ordered extension, according at least to one-on-one. So typically, I have a bunch of online names, don't get a lot of offers on them, but if online turns into being as big as it might appear to, then I think it was worth buying, because I think concierge is one of the better travel related kinds of names that you can get. As far as just going through some of them, the ones I kind of like the best, I like Pinkcoin. Obviously, there's obviously everybody knows about Bitcoin by now, but there's actually something like 100 different coins that are tradable commodities at this point. Most of them aren't very well known, but there's quite a few, and obviously pink, has to do with breast cancer, and it's it just is a very sort of cool thing, and I can see that would be maybe one of the better potential names for one of the next tradable coin markets. Some of the other ones I like. I like the name Search Around a lot. I just think it's a really good name for sort of a search engine. I have searchit.com as well, so I think that blends well with that. Ship autos here in Florida, the trucks start pulling up, around, I don't know, around June 1st, and people start shipping the cars back east, and then come November they start coming back down with the 7 or 8 car carriers, and people are shipping them back down to Florida for the winter time. So it seems like a pretty big business. Being from New York, I know there's a lot of heliports in New York. They're pretty popular. A lot of people use them, so that was the reasoning for that one. I like the name Rare Cut. I just think it's a nice brandable name. It certainly would be a great name for sort of a steaky kind of place, or some place that sold either had a restaurant, steak houses, or just a high-end place that sold steak via mail that you can cook up yourself. I like Cancer Shield. Don't know, at some point, I think it's a great name for some sort of product health supplement, something that will come along. I just thought it was a very cool kind of name. A lot of them, I think, sort of speak for themselves, at least to me they do. I like some of the names I have, like something Inc., like I have bought, Christmas Inc., I think is a good name for a company that would engage in everything from house decorating to party planning to anything related to Christmas. So I kind of like that name as well. File electronically, I think, is good for taxes, good for really anything that does get filed electronically, contracts and that type of thing. I've got a couple of political names, some shopping names, some dating names. I think bestbrownie.com is a nice little name for it. You know, the brownie gift kind of thing, which I get in the mail all the time. So, you know, that's kind of what I see it.
Yeah.
But mostly brandables.
Yeah, I definitely see the you know, the product or service fileelectronically.com and the shipautos.com, and then the products that could be in the future, cancershield.com. You know, I definitely see where you're heading with your investment philosophy. On the $69 and $59 ones, are those typically namejet auctions where you were the only or the first bidder on those?
Yes.
Okay, and where
Yes.
do you buy?
Well, it would be the only bidder. Well, I guess it would be the first bidder if nobody else bid.
Right.
Correct.
Sometimes they allow 59. I don't know why it's 59 and
Yeah,
sometimes it's 69.
I think Namejet is 59, and Snap is 69, I believe.
And where do you put in your back orders to grab domains for $19, $22, $29?
Other places.
All right, go searching. Now
I
you
have to
do.
go grab yeah, go ahead.
You have to do Namejet and Snap names in some cases because the registrars are partnered with these auction houses. The ones
Correct.
that are 19, 22, and 29, they grab them. You could take your chances and just wait for it to drop and then go hand register at GoDaddy or Name.com or something like that. But you'd rather pay a few bucks more and not have to worry about hand registering them yourself.
That's correct.
Okay, great.
That's correct.
All right.
Right, and by the way, some of these domains, also may have been back ordered out of Snap Names, but one of the smaller, auction houses may have gotten it.
Yep.
So just, Snap Names doesn't always win, and Namejet doesn't always win, and sometimes a smaller, sometimes Dynadot wins,
Yeah.
or some guy, runs a script and gets them. So
Right.
Right.
So
I
will
do
you
need to
enter?
get
Will you enter domain? I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I do need to get my electrical cord here in a second. But
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. And let me ask you one more question. Will you enter the domains that you want at multiple services?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I try not to put them in at Namejet just because Namejet is so discoverable, and they they push it into people's faces by sending an email
Right.
saying these are the most back ordered, but to make the list, you'll have to really have one back order on them. So I try not to really use Namejet unless there's already a smattering of back orders on them at Namejet, and I try to, and I've told Namejet that I would use them more if they had maybe a higher threshold. Maybe if we could take two back orders,
Yeah.
to make the most back ordered list, so like you don't spend a lot of time doing work and then they expose all of your work to everybody else to see. I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, definitely. Will you just put these in your mostwanteddomains.com portfolio and wait for people to make an offer on them?
They will go in the Most Wanted Domains portfolio and go on the site. They'll hit our next updated list to CDU and to Afternic and to domain name sales as well. So all of our stuff is listed on all the platforms.
And will you price every single one of these, or will you only take offers?
I will price some of them. I wouldn't say I can't. I wouldn't commit that I'm going to price all of them, but I will definitely price some of them and make offers on others.
What will you price pinkcoin.com at?
I mean, at the moment, the only thing I've done is I have two. I have two options that I've set for myself, which is either I buy it now at $4,888 or make offer. So I haven't gone any deeper and played with the pricing and have different grades of pricing. So it'll either be a buy it now at $4,888 or it'll be a make offer.
Gotcha.
For all of these names on the list, and I don't know which offhand or which.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Hey, Paige,
quite
let's
welcome.
move over
I'm
to
here
you.
for it.
Paige, let's move over to you. What's your general investment philosophy, and why did you choose these names?
Well, I try to buy names that I think are going to increase in value in the future, and I try to not buy names that are going to decrease in value in the future.
That sounds good. So why did you buy?
I didn't know we were going to talk about our own names. I was ready to talk about the other.
Well, we're going to get to that. First, we want to learn about why you purchased them. Then we're going to have the duke it out match.
So I was surprised at how many auctions I've lost, and that I do expired domain names each day. I do come up with my own ideas. There's a big group here that we bought for the outlet last week because we were doing our brandable show. And so I looked at what was coming in and thought maybe I could put out some better stuff for people to buy. Much like Adam looks at .ca, we look at .tv, each name all the time, just because it's a smaller drop. It's about, it's just not nearly as large as the com drop. We use tools to cut up the .com drop. And then sometimes, in this case, I bought some of these real estate names. We had an inquiry on Vale Village real estate, and I looked it up, and I saw these other words that looked like they made sense, and the homes were, $15 million a piece. So I just kind of picked those up to kind of complement it. Bridge Clubs was interesting because I have bridgeclubs.net that I've had for a long time, and it's always right on the edge of should I renew or should I not renew. And I got one of those, this domain name is coming available notices for bridgeclubs.com. And I said, well, I'm not sure if I want to keep bridgeclubs.net or not, but I know if I can upgrade to the .com for a reasonable price, that'll make my decision much easier. So that dropped, and I was able to buy that.
Where did you get that one for $71? That seems like a different purchase amount.
When someone else had already bid 69, so I put in my opening bid at 71, and then I wasn't outbid.
Oh, nice. At NameJet. Gotcha. So are you going to drop bridgeclubs.net now?
In my mind, I am.
All right. How do you pick these?
Sounds good that I am.
How do you pick these long phrase domains like TennesseeDefenseLawyer.com, global domain name registration? How do you programmatically go through and say, give me any actual word domains with a search?
Tennessee Defense Lawyer, I actually bought off a newsletter, and I know that a lot of those domain names are coming back to market right now in droves. And my feeling was, it's in my state. It's a big segment of the law. It's not necessarily a micro niche like, parking ticket attorney or something like that. And it's the whole state. So it's kind of like, well, if I buy one, then I don't need to buy 100. I can just buy one. And if these things are coming back and they shouldn't be dropped, then I've got one to play in this space. And if not, then I've invested $79, and hopefully I can find somebody that lives in this state to buy it from. Chip PIN credit cards. I'll tell you an interesting story about that. That should be chip and pin, pin and chip. I put them all in at GoDaddy, registered them, and then got an email back saying someone else got them literally the same second I was registering them on whatever day it was. And so that was kind of a bummer because I thought I had all 6. And with the Target mess, this is kind of the technology that everyone's going to go to. And so literally I looked up the who is, and the guy, had the time on there, and it was, the time it took me to process my GoDaddy shopping cart, I guess I missed it.
I have never heard of such a thing. They actually emailed you at that time and said you didn't get these because somebody else grabbed them at the exact same moment.
Well, when you register a name, it doesn't say you've got the name. It says we have placed this order for you.
So anybody else in the real world that was doing that would get that email and say, I just got front run by GoDaddy. Somebody saw a great name that I was going to register and they registered it themselves under some, cloak and dagger sort of thing.
Well, it's funny. How I found Adam Dicker's DN forum is I actually registered Iraqi Freedom when they named the operation Iraqi Freedom to go into Iraq, and I registered the ComNet.org and all that stuff and got the same email saying you didn't really get it, and it was in trying to discover how they could do that, what were the rules in, that I found some commentary in a similar situation on one of the DM Forum threads, which got me into DM Forum, which got me kind of back in the game back in 2003. So, I think at first I was thinking conspiracy theory. One of the places I had looked it up must have stole it from me. Right. Someone's got a bot on my computer to do it. But the guy who got it, actually, he registers a lot of the Hillary Clinton for president names, and is kind of a news junkie. He's had a couple stories written on him, so he must have just been kind of watching. Maybe I watched the 6 o'clock news, and he watched the 7 o'clock news, and at 10 o'clock, both of us went for it at the same time.
Right.
Hey, do you really think that's possible if the guy went for it at the same time as you on chip pin readers or chip pin credit cards? Seriously?
I didn't think it was possible, but literally to find out that it was a guy who hand registers names based upon what he sees on TV, and I was doing the same thing, I don't have any other explanation.
You don't think it's possible, Adam?
No.
Mike, do you think it's possible?
Oh, I saw that GoDaddy commercial with .co last year, so it seems like it's possible.
Come on a
Rick
4-word
thinks it is.
domain, you think it's possible the very same second Paige was registering as somebody else?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I do the same thing that Paige does. Most of the domains that I register are because I'm watching TV and I hear a new phrase that I've never heard before, and boom. And you know what? Greg Ostrich. That son of a bitch gets most of them, okay? He gets me. Ask him. He's gotten me by a split second sometimes. He has the best, when it comes to those domains, he got the best ones. He watches TV, bam. So I absolutely believe it's true.
I think it's
Somebody's
possible.
a little bitter.
Mike Berkens and I, we've exchanged emails one time on a name that we were both watching CNBC on and saw it at the same time. So, I mean, if I would have seen that it was, GoDaddy Private Services Group,
Right.
or, Phoenix Names Limited Incorporated in the Virgin Islands, I might have been more suspect. But to see that it was, literally just,
Yeah.
something, so.
You got like 20 names here around wearable apparel. Apparel tech, apparel technologies, wearable dock, wearable disc, wearable flash, wear card, wear vault. You're going all in, huh?
Well, I figure if I buy 20 of them, that's $180. If I price them at $24.99, sell one to break even. It's an option for 1 year. $9 downside, $2,500 upside.
All right. And if you don't get any offers on the ones that don't sell, do you drop them? In theory,
I probably keep, out of, say there's 15, I probably keep the 3 best after a year.
All right. Good. And what's this vaping? Vaping book, vaping ebook, vaping...
Well, you're old, Michael.
It's not a trend. It's no big
Mike,
deal.
I had to look it up, too.
You're old.
So
don't
my
smoke, that's why.
my wife smokes an e-cigarette, and what you're doing, because it's vapor, is the vaping. So, like, our store here in town is the vaping store, and so it's vapor and vaping, and that's kind of smoking.
All right.
So
What's your favorite one on the list? Tell me it's in L.A., Paige. Tell me it's in L.A.
Oh, yeah. Did I get some LA? Oh, yeah.
You got some LAs.
Swagger.LA.
Fuel.la, longtermcare.la, Wiki,
Swagger.
Bear, Swagger.la. Who doesn't want Swagger.la?
There you go, buddy.
So what's your favorite one on the list?
Swagger.la.
Mine too. All right, Rick, let's move on to you. What was your, and again, we're going to go into your investment philosophy in detail on Monday. So if you want to see Rick talk about it in detail, sign up for the newsletter. You'll get it on Monday morning, and you can watch that show. But Rick, in summary, what would you say your investment philosophy was for these 127 domains, which was a portion of 390 that you registered over 2 days?
Well, let me say, you put me to work, Michael. I wasn't that happy about it, but I had a good time because it was the first time in over a decade that I actually went down and dug in the mines, really, because every one that I got is a hand-registered, laying around domain for $8.40. So I hand-registered every one by one, no scripts, no nonsense. Now, let me give a little disclaimer about the first 25 because I was trying to get my sea legs back. And
I didn't even include the first 25 in your list. I took the last 127.
Oh, well, you have to put the whole thing in because, anyway.
I'm going to make them wait till Monday.
Okay, so I sit at my keyboard and I'm getting down in the mines and I have no direction whatsoever. Where the hell do I start? Okay, so, these guys always razz me. Well, Rick, you couldn't do it again, blah, blah. I've been putting up with that for years. So, okay, what do I do? So, first thing I did is I started thinking about what are the products out there now that are new and are coming. And I basically got to LED, which was, I'm putting LED bulbs in my house to save money, and it's been working out well. And so I started thinking, okay, well, if I was an LED remodel.com, I can go around and and do that. And if I was a guy, I could make a living. And then I kind of looked at it after I registered a couple of them. I did 2 of them. And then I said, but no one's really going to know that it's LED. It's just going to look like lead. It didn't look good. So I said, okay, those aren't any good. But I already registered. That's, like I said, you're going in the mines. You're going to get shit, and you're going to get gold and silver and tin, and your job is to go through it. And that's what I do. And I don't generally go through it until after I take the hat off and come back from the mine. Mm-hmm. So just as a disclaimer. So then I'm thinking the next thing I thought of were sensors, because there's going to be sensors in everything that we touch now in the future. Refrigerators, washing machines, microwaves, you name it. Everything's going to have a sensor. Our underwear may have a sensor. Your probably wife put a little sensor in your underwear. Anyway, so I started going down and typing in things with sensor, and they were all taken. And I'm going, and I'm doing that for about 15 minutes, and I kind of find boundaries of, well, what isn't taken? You're punching something stupid. Okay, that isn't taken. So now I can kind of work backwards. And so I got designsensors.com. Okay, not great, but something. And then I was just starting to think. Then I got GTLDdrop.com. Okay, don't know where it came from. Just kind of entered my mind. GTLDs are coming in. There's going to be a GTLD drop. Okay, boom. So now I'm in the GTLD drop business. Bang, boom. Then I was looking. I'm a solution-oriented guy, and I'm looking for best solutions. And there's a lot of these. I got all kinds of different extensions to show what you may get in different extensions if the .com is gone. So best solutions, obviously the .com was gone. But if I had bestsolutions.me and I tell someone what it is, they can figure out what I do. So that's how I got to that. Then I got Wall Unit King, cute little name, Platform Makers. Then I thought about the keyword reputation, and I got some ones with dashes in it that kind of stink because all the ones without dashes are gone, but I got reputation-doctor-check and reputation-station. Then I got selfie. But I didn't know how to spell selfie. So I got SELFY, and every single extension was taken. Even the ones that when I learned how to spell it right, they were taken too, except for selfie.biz. So that's when you grab a .biz, when everything else is gone.
And I go into much more detail asking you why you'd buy the wrong spelling in .biz on Monday. But Rick, eventually you got to the custom products, custom services. And that's mainly the list that we have here. Why did you decide to buy the bulk of your domains as custom something?
Well, because that's when I hit the vein. See, that's what mining is to me. It's a vein. When you hit the vein, okay? So I already discussed I was going after sensors, and I couldn't find any. And then I said, well, how about I hit the keyword? This is the vein. Custom-made sensors. Okay, it's available. Great. Geez, let me see what else is available on custom-made. And then I went to, obviously custom-made suits, and they're gone. But you know what? Custom-made-suits.me was available. Again, if I have nothing else in life and I have a card and it says custom-made-suits.me, bam, they know what I do, and I can make a living for the rest of my life, and anyone could do that. So that's where I get to the .me's, is all the ones that were definitely taken, and they're good. Hey, I still want to be at the table. I may not have the .com, but the .me, I like them, and it's personal. Anyway, then I started getting to the custom-made things that were available. And it's funny because I own the opposite of custom-made, which is homemade, which is one word. But I never went after the vein of blah, 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 homemade, or blank dash homemade, because homemade is a very usually inexpensive item. So I never saw a lot of value going after a whole bunch of inexpensive items. On the other hand, custom made is exactly the opposite. It could be very expensive items, and it could be a lot of those very expensive items, or not, or just bulk. So I started getting custom-made, ashtrays. Okay, just something. I'm trying to figure out again where the bounds are. And as I go down the list, and as the viewers go down the list, they'll see how I was sucking at the beginning, and really trying to figure it out. And since it isn't there, the 397th one on the list, when I starting honing into it, and especially custom made and something expensive, then I'm getting into custom made minks and custom made fur coats.
Right.
And before that, I get into custom made skis and things like that. And now I'm on it. Okay. Now the most important thing that I really want everyone to know is when I got on this vein, I didn't do it as Rick Schwartz has been doing it for 18 years. I did it as a friend of mine named Jeff Overman. Okay? I don't know if you guys know Jeff Overman. I'm sure I know a few of you do, and he's a guy that's a domainer that's been out there for a few years, been struggling along, working hard, knocking on a lot of doors. And I said, you know what? If I was a guy like Jeff Overman that was knocking on doors, and he, had a list just like this at $8.40 and went around and just focused on one of these sectors every week, I believe a guy like that can make 6 figures in a year. That's what I believe. Call me crazy. I believe it, because if I had this, and this is what I had to do, I absolutely know I could make 6 figures with this list. They're not great domain names. The point is, they're hustleable domain names. I mean, okay, you want to sell custom-made skis? Well, Jesus, get the damn list of all the custom-made ski guys in the world and start hitting them. And you know what? Then if they don't hit, then you get the guys that don't make custom skis and say, hey, you want to get into the custom-made ski business? I mean, it only takes one. So now we're talking about a price. How much is it? Well, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $500, $300, $8.40. It took me 8 hours for 397 domains and cost me $2,600. Okay?
Yeah. And only one or two will pay for the entire list, and you got them for a year.
One sale pays for the list, and before that, I was bidding in an auction.
Yeah. Hey, Rick, you've got some great ones. Custom-made mink coats, custom-made fur coats, custom-made closet, custom-made fragrance, custom-made skis, as you said. Now that you own these 390-plus domains, are you going to bring somebody on to actively sell them? Are you going to wait for offers to come in? Are you going to hold them for your 10 years like you talk about?
Well, it's funny. I was thinking about that today, and my thing is always to hold, and I don't sell, but this was a special type of a deal. So here's my offer to Jeff Overman. Okay, I want you to. I'm gonna arm you with this list. The first $2,500 you sell, you can keep 100% of the money. Okay, and then after that, we'll split it 50-50. That's my offer to him publicly. He can make the first $2,500. He can sell off the list. He can have 100% of the proceeds.
Wow! All right, sounds like a pretty good deal. He doesn't front.
A guy that knows how to hustle.
Yeah, he doesn't have to front any of the money. You've already paid for him.
Right, $2,600, no problem. Boom. I just want to prove a point.
All right, we've heard from all 4 of you about your portfolios. Does anybody see any legal or trademark issues with any of the domains that your fellow Sherpas have purchased? Nothing? All right, they all look pretty clean. Here's a tough question. You all purchased your own portfolios. If you could swap them, if it was one of those secret Santas where you package up your portfolio and give it to somebody else, whose portfolio do you wish you had? Adam.
I want Adam's.
You can't pick your own portfolio. Adam. You're muted. You're muted, Adam. Adam, you're muted.
I know. I had my headphones on.
Okay.
I was listening. Well, who would I trade for? I got to say I'm not trading for anybody.
No, you got to pick one.
I have.
I'm going to force you to pick one. It's uncomfortable.
But I'm going to keep the box. Let's make a deal. I'm going to keep the box. If I had to pick one, I'll take Rick's only because I think it's got potential, even though it's... I'll take Rick's because I think it's got potential.
Mike, who would you pick if you couldn't pick your own?
I mean, going through it, I have more names that I selected that I like out of pages than anybody else's.
Out of who?
So I'll go with Page.
Oh, Paige. Okay. Paige, whose would you pick?
Well, Adam spent more on his, but I actually like Mike's pretty much because of one name that he got. That darn Mike Berkens. But anyway, so I'll go with Mike's.
Which is the name that Mike got?
Site maintenance.
Site maintenance. That's a good one. Rick.
Terrific name.
Whose
Kudos.
would you pick, Rick?
I pick Adams.
Adams. You guys
Yeah.
are so nice. Everybody got one vote. It's a love
All right,
fest.
Mike Seiger, where's your name?
Yeah, I'm the host. I just bring you on and ask questions.
All
right.
these names have SEO in them anyway.
What tools do you guys use to evaluate the domain names you purchased? Adam, you mentioned that you have a homegrown tool for your .cas. Do you use any third-party tools to go through them?
No, I don't. I mean, most of it is the best tool that we have as experienced domainers is what's here, because we know just by seeing or hearing a name if it's going to be valuable and how much potential it has. And that's really the best. And that's the thing that the issue is, you can't teach that.
Let me branch out and say any tools are newsletters or conversations with friends or anything. Didn't you mention you bought one off a newsletter? Whose newsletters do you like?
Chip Mead.
Chip Mead?
Mead. M-E-A-D-E. He's the guy that gives out the newsletters that are all the availables.
Yep.
Get a hold of him. He's a good guy. I'll check his email. I don't want to get him email bombed, but
Sure.
he's on DN Forum and he's somewhere else. What he does is good, but the rest of these are all by mining the drop list and
Yep.
going after things that I wanted. And I mean, when you have a bigger budget than some people have right now, it's easier to go after things that you want. So
Right.
you can't always go by what we go by. I mean, most people wouldn't spend. I don't know if they'd spend for nichewebsite.com $3,500.
Right, but
Me, I think it's big because niche websites are huge. But
Yeah. Mike, what
gotta keep
tools do
people-
you use? What tools do you use, Mike?
I mean, I really don't use tools to evaluate the names. I use certain tools to sort of cut down on the number of domains that are on the drop list,
Right.
And sort of like cuts down the amount of stuff I can look at, so I can get through a drop list in maybe 6 hours for the next few days. So, but I mean, pretty much once if I see a name and I add it. And I really don't even research it or try to evaluate it unless it gets into an auction scenario. And then, obviously I'll start looking at the usual suspects as far as stats go.
Yeah, but there's like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of domain names that drop daily, and you're looking, you grab stuff that probably, are great product names, but like Cancer Shield isn't going to come up on any. How do you find those? How do you?
Yeah, I mean, I just got to go through the list
Wow.
manually to some extent. I mean, there's a couple of ways I sort the list to try to find it, but a lot of it's just going through and slugging through, tens of thousands of names.
Tell
very
me one
quickly.
way you sort the list to find names you like.
I like to look at the older names for sure. Not saying that a name that's a year old is not worth acquiring, but I do definitely want to see those names that are 18, 17, 15, 10 years old, and I pay maybe closer attention to those than I do on the more recent.
Do you find that you sort a list one way and look through it, then sort it another way and look through it, then sort it another way and look through it?
Yes.
Gotcha. Hey, Paige, what tools do you like to use?
I use a bunch. I use anything and everything I can.
Like what?
I think sorting the daily drop list is terrific.
Mm-hmm.
There's always been a number of services that will sort it by, like Mike Berkens said, age, number of extensions,
Mm-hmm.
keyword length. I don't do as much of the Google stuff because I don't understand it, a lot of it. You know what I mean? So if I don't understand the thesis behind the number, then I could feel good that, hey, I got this name and it's got this, but I don't really know it. Interesting part of the exercise for me is going back through and saying, if this was one of the other guys' portfolios and I had to comment on it, I went back through and I ended up only liking less than half of my names a week later, which was interesting. And so I think, and there's a whole other group of names that I started a Google Doc called Sherpa Challenge, that when I found something interesting, I just put it up there, and then I kept saying I was going to, take a look through it, and then I got to Monday, and it was so freaking cold that I just didn't, I didn't even go through those lists. So anyway, it's I would encourage everybody to do this with their own names that they've bought in a month and stare at the wall and enunciate why you bought what you bought. And I think it's a terrific exercise to be able to have to, just like you're at NamesCon and someone said, tell us about what you're buying, and you have to actually say it. And as you're saying it, a lot of stuff will come familiar. So I think I'm probably more keyword-centric than I am tools. There's certain themes and words that we like, and we look at those. So.
Yep. And Rick, you went in, we talked in great length on the interview that we're going to do on Monday, how you thought about it. Clearly, you didn't use any tools besides that
protection. Just protection.
Only
protection.
And you got a yellow book that's on your desk also that you used, right?
Yeah, there was a yellow book here somewhere. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, your yellow pages. And then you just used your mind and went through. Did you, and I can't remember if I asked you this on your interview, did you go to Google and search on, like, custom-made skis, custom-made this, to see if there were any advertisers or how many results were in the Google index?
Well, I didn't go to search most of them. I would just went to search a couple here and there just to make sure I was on the right trail. And just like a page said, look, I'm going to go through these domains and half of them are going to be no good. But, I think if I use any tools, it's the tools after I bring the wheelbarrows out of the mine, that's... Yeah. Because that's kind of sorting through them and see which ones, may have great value, which ones may have mediocre value, which ones have no value, which ones I must have been whacked. I mean, I have no clue why I even got them. I mean, you go through all of those because that's what you do as you go through them. But when you're down in the mines, like I say, I don't do that. I mean, getting back to page and losing a domain by a second, I've lost many, 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 many domains over my career by a second or a minute or an hour or a day, and to me it's all the same. Yeah. So
and
I just
we had this conversation, and I respectfully asked why you registered a certain domain name that I didn't think was very good, and you agreed that it wasn't very good, and we went into your philosophy in detail around why you register them and then how you evaluate them later, and so stick around for Monday. So I ran all 4 lists through estabot.com because I like to see. I don't have the experience base that you guys have. I like to see what kind of programmatic results I can find based on search volume and other extensions and things like that. And one portfolio stood out with more domains over $1,000 and a greater return on investment calculated by the total value of the Estabot value divided by the total value of the purchase price value of that. Anybody guess whose portfolio was on the top of the heap?
Mike.
I'd say Adam.
I'll go with Mike.
Rick, what do you think?
I'm hoping it's me, baby.
It was Mike Berkens. So it was he invested $3,000 and it had an Estabot value of about $43,000. Of course, you're going to be pricing them at the $48.88, a majority of them, and probably some of them make an offer. So it has
the
potential.
Estabot's a really cool tool. It's really.
Clearly, it's a very accurate tool. All right, that was a fun challenge, Sherpas. I appreciate you you opening up your portfolios. If people have questions about a methodology or why people bought something, clearly we've got different use cases. Adam purchased a lot for a higher amount that he plans to build businesses on. So when you plan to build a business, spending $1,000 on a domain name is a drop in the barrel when you can sell a product for $100. Next week, we're going to discuss domain names on a topic that should never be discussed in civilized groups. We're going to discuss politics. I love my family, but God forbid we discuss politics. All rules and reasoning break down. Maybe it'll be different with political domain names. We'll see. If you haven't submitted your political domain name, click on the link. You've got 4 more days to submit.
I think we're going to be unanimous, Mike. We all hate politics.
Maybe we'll discuss Canadian politics next week. I don't know anything about it. Adam.
Rob Ford. We can discuss Rob Ford. And
I
the
don't know
fact he's going
anyone
to win
that's
the next
for
election.
politics.
All right, we're going to move on to the marketplace list. This is a section sponsored by NameJet. We're going to be reviewing 20 domain names. Head into auction soon. You can still get in on the auction or just bid the minimum and watch the auction live. The links below go to the domain names directly on NameJet, so you don't have to search for the domain name. Sometimes I enter it in the bid box when I meant to actually just search on it and see how many bids there are. I've wound up with a couple of names that way. None of the links are commission links, just tracking links. The list starts with blueberryfarm.com and it ends with cameradeals.com. Rick, let's start with you this round. What do you like on the list and why?
Well, at least most of it isn't roadkill. It's a pretty interesting list. I like I like Blueberry Farm. I like golfing equipment. Big Honcho, Coin Smash. Farming Fool sounds like a fun site. I mean, some of the others not quite up my alley, but that's basically most of the ones that get it for me. The other ones really don't do too much.
Do you see Blueberry Farm as a brandable or as an actual blueberry farm?
Either way, I think it probably has more value as a brandable maybe than a blueberry farm. I don't know how much money is in blueberries. I have to go check with Google, I guess, and check the blueberry business. But yeah, I mean, you can obviously see a farm being called Blueberry Farm or just some, could be anything, whether it be jeans, Blueberry Farm jeans. I mean, that's when it becomes a true brandable, is when you marry it to something that's completely, basically outrageous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On a generic.
Yep. All right, Paige, let's go to you. What do you like on the list and why?
Let's see. I like Hiking Store. I like the store names. It's a good market. It's clear.
Do you get a lot of sales on store names?
No.
But you like it.
The worst thing is, I sold a name 5 years ago, and the buyer has never changed the name servers, and it's on Traffic Z, and I probably get like an inquiry every other month to buy that stupid name that reminds me that I shouldn't have sold it for what I sold it for. So I think that one mental thing is what keeps me buying store names over and over and over again.
There's a .store TLD coming. I'll ask Mike about the TLD coming out. I think there's a .store, isn't there?
What's a new TLD?
And the .shop.
Oh, it's a .shop. I got confused.
Well, there's both.
All right. Oh, okay.
Store, there's a shop.
Equestrian Saddles, I guess, was the pure product name. Golfing equipment. I never forget if there's supposed to be a T in there or not. Let's see. Ocean Murals. I thought the list was okay. I didn't think the pure product names were as great as the other list. Camera Deals was interesting because, we can take pictures with so many things now that it's almost like you forget about buying actual, real, live, real expensive cameras. And so it's a great name. It's got a great estimate number. I mean, I'm sure there's a price I'd love it at. But it was just interesting to think about an item that all of a sudden the price has just been pulled way out of it because of the number of substitutes that we can have, or just the hassle of carrying a camera along with your phone. Pure Brandables, Big Honcho was okay. I mean, couldn't figure out Firewives, couldn't figure out Farming Fuels, couldn't figure out Video West. So there was a lot more on this list that I couldn't really see where the two words went together. So I'd say Hiking Store was my favorite one.
All right. Equestrian Saddles. I didn't even see that on the list. Those things go for like bucks, at least $2,000 or $5,000 high end. I have a friend who's
really likely to buy it online though. Back to the prior thing, we didn't get to talk about it, but Adam's certificates online, I think, is one of the greatest businesses you can do, where someone needs it, they can buy it online, and you're sending them a piece of paper, which is, more information than pure product cost. And I think that's, a beautiful business. shipping a saddle or carrying inventory would be a lot tougher.
Yeah. All right, Adam, let's go over to you. What do you like on the list and why?
Well, I don't believe Paige was the certificates thing because he didn't pick my portfolio, so the hell with him. On this list, I like golfing equipment. It's a brand, it's a product. A Big Honcho I thought is good because we were deciding on Rick's new email address. So Rick at Big Honcho, man, that's a good one. Coin Smash, I don't know what the hell that is. Equestrian Saddles, good. It's a product. Then we got some brandables. Garage Door Guys. Brandable. If you're fixing garage doors, that's what you want to be. The Garage Door Guys. Native American Store. I was doing some work, I don't know, about 8 years ago on a website, and Native American products are huge. NativeAmericans.com is huge. It's well indexed, and products for Native Americans are good. So that store is okay. Sassy Scarves. Good brandable if you're selling scarves. I like it. It's sassy, and that's one of Sheldon's favorite words from The Big Bang. I don't know. I've been trying to figure out a joke for Text Sitter. I can't come up with anything with that. I don't know. Hiking store. Hiking is huge. Huge all over the place. Actually, hiking.com and hikers.com were just in auctions recently, so those are good domain names. I knew somebody was going to like Camera Deals. I'm not fond of it, but if I had to pick one here, I don't know. I'm going to go with Garage Door Guys because I could do a business on that and resell it pretty quick.
Yeah. All right, Mike Berkens, what do you think of the list?
I think it's pretty weak, for an NameJet list, to be honest. It's just usually the list we go through on NameJet, and certainly the names I see, that are going to be, that are in the pre-back order cycle or going to be going into auction are, stronger, I would say, in general than this overall list.
Hey, Mike, can I ask you just to tilt down your camera slightly so I can see a little? There we go. All right, thank you. So given that, are there any names that you might bid on?
I mean, I like Blueberry Farm. I don't know how high I would bid.
Why do you like that one? Because I like it too, and I can't figure out why. Like, I'm not going to start a Blueberry Farm.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of them, and I think it's got that sort of just that organic feel about it, so I think it could be something that could, be sort of a Whole Foodsy kind of thing, as well as, just the Blueberry Farm. And I'm not sure why I like it either, but I like it. I like Big Honcho. I think it's just, it's a brandable name. I love it. I mean, Coin Smash is kind of a cool name. Obviously we go into that whole Bitcoin or, alternative currency market. But it's, it's huge, it's big. I mean, there was a Bitcoin convention here in Miami over the weekend. There's a lot of actual, domainers in the space that seem to be in the whole Bitcoin and other coins, mining space pretty heavily. So I kind of like that name. Otherwise, I like Hiking Store a lot, and pretty much that's kind of it. On the Camera Deals, I'm staring at the Estabot appraised value of $55,000, trying to figure out, how, what sort of metrics or stats or anything could have led, an algorithm to think that name is worth $55,000, because it's, certainly not sort of a bang-on sort of keywordy kind of name that you would expect like an algorithm to pick up on. But we can mention that today you could actually go for the first time and register a .camera name. Of course, that's your favorite registrar.
Which is better, deals.camera or cameradeals.com?
Well, right now, today, you can get deals.camera for around $12,500 at GoDaddy.
So Camera Deals, I think, has an enormous amount of search volume. I don't have the Estabot on, but I typed it into Google, and it looks like people search for Camera Deals a lot, and there's a lot of advertising.
Well, I mean, deals.camera is showing to me as available still at that $1,500 price.
I think they should just get a smartphone.
It hasn't been snapped up, but it does go down to like $3,000 tomorrow. By next week, you can get it for a regular registration price if it hasn't been taken up under the.
But it seems just backwards to me. Doesn't it seem backwards to you if you buy deals.camera?
They already devalued their own product. I mean, it kind of silly, doesn't it? I mean. It's like Doesn't it devalue your own product when there's no market at that price, and there's no market at that price, and there's no market at that price, and then when it finally goes down to the registration price, no one registers it? What is it? That doesn't help.
Well, I guess we'll see if everybody registers it before or along the way or when it goes live or not. But, I mean, I think the fact that it's sort of stated the way it is, and it's stated for a reason, and there's today is at one price and tomorrow's at another price, and gives you first shot at it if you want it, if it's worth it to you.
I don't know, Rick, the counterpoint to your devaluation idea is that there's more than 10,000 people in the world that understand that .camera is coming out, that you can go buy deals.camera for $12,000 today and for $3,000 tomorrow. Are there more than 10,000, 20,000 people in the world that know that?
I doubt it. I don't think so.
I think there's that many.
So how does it devalue the domain when nobody knows about it to begin with?
Well, because the insiders know about it, and they're watching the thing plummet. I mean, if something is $12,000 one week and $12 the next week, that doesn't sound like a really good deal, does it? I mean, I don't know what movie everyone is watching.
If you love the domain name, deals.camera, let's say,
but
it's a reverse auction. So you got to be the first one to reserve it at the price you think it's value.
But someone I read reserved one today for $10,000. Clothing. What was it? Custom IT clothing, like custom Italy clothing or something. I believe is like, really. I mean, you got to be kidding me. I mean, and 20 minutes later, he was out there hustling it for $11,000. I mean, come on. You're going to tell me that that's the best domain that you could figure out for your $10,000 on the very first hour or the very first day the extension came out? If you love the extension, I can't believe that was the best one. Sorry, just can't buy into it.
So you don't think it was a real transaction? Is that what you're saying?
That was the first transaction, I believe, from what I think Domain Insight reported it.
Okay.
I thought it was something that was clothing, custom IT clothing or whatever.
But it's that the fact that it's this passive aggressive. Hey, we're not saying they're good or bad. We're just saying if you want them, you can get them for this price.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just imagines that there's this demand out there, and if it gets filled, great. We're just providing a service.
So Rick, let me ask you this question, although we're getting way off topic. So if that's the case, and somebody spent $12,500 to register some clothing name today, and they paid $185,000 to apply for clothing, knowing that and seeing those kinds of registrations, you think you should have maybe applied for one of these detailed?
Listen, I always said from their point of view, look, it's printing money. You got nothing to lose. You have something that has no value. You sold for $12,000. It sounds like the greatest business in the world. But guess what? Don't pull me in to buy that, to swallow that shit. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's all. From their point, it's fantastic. From me, it's ridiculous. That's all.
Mike, I'll take that question.
Okay.
I think that the idea that money's going to be made, hey, if Donut sits back and looks at one of their TLDs, and if they get 10 registrations today, they've almost got their money back, so it was smart for them to apply for it. I say fine, but just don't tell me it's a bottom-up consensus process that said we needed this for the Internet, and
right.
the body running the Internet decided in the best interest of the Internet that this is what we needed to do. Right. That's a long way from saying, hey, you're going to get your 185 back. There's still an enormous amount of resources and time that was spent saying this is the way we're going to direct the Internet, with the consequences potentially being we're going to take management of the Internet out of your hands, and our prime example is going to be, look how you did this program. So that's where I get in and say, just because the registries make money, I should have done it. I'm still saying we haven't made a better Internet. So.
All
but
right.
doesn't make you wish you went into the registry business? Was really the question.
No.
Okay.
I think right now I'll say it.
Say it.
If the amount of success that these registries should be having today should be 10 or 20 or 30 times what they're actually having, if we really have introduced a fundamental change to the way the Internet is going to be run. we should be seeing much more hyperbole, excitement, and real registrations, about this time. So I feel like the reality, again, I compare it to Obamacare. The thing that's going to hurt them the most is the reality of what it looks like when everything comes out and people go, okay, that's good. And again, not hurting anybody. Registries are making money, but this fundamental change on the way we do business on the internet, I don't see any indication of that based upon what's happened so far.
All right, time will tell. Sherpas, we're going to enter the lightning round. First up, registered or available. I name 3 domain names. You don't let the fingers do the walking. Don't look them up. You tell me if you think they're registered or available. Get your signs ready. Last week, it was a neck-and-neck race. Rick pulled it out. This week, here's the first name. This week, the DomainSherpa show was with John Yao. Great story. John paid $250,000 for stockphoto.com off of Flippa. He pressed the buy it now button on Christmas Eve. I titled the interview Prepaying $250,000 for a lifetime of customer traffic because the exact match domain gets hundreds of direct type-ins per day. So I wondered, is typeintraffic.co registered or available? Typeintraffic.co. Adam is saying available. Rick is saying available. Paige is saying available. And Mike is saying, he's writing, he's saying available.
I am.
Wow, I can't believe that all 4 of you think that typeintraffic.co is available. And you're all right. All right, moving on. Next up, 7 of Donut's new top-level domains, including .guru, .clothing, are available starting today under the company's early access program. So I wondered, is earlyaccessprogram.com registered or available? You tell me. Rick says it is taken. Paige says it is taken. Mike says it is taken, and so do Adam. So you all say it's registered. And you are all correct. It is taken. We've got a 4-way tie. I really need to pick some better domains next week.
You were thinking somebody was going to game it and go against the crowd to get the lead. So
I hope we don't have a 4-way tie. Here's the last name of the day. Rick has shown you his mining hat. So I wondered, is mining-hat.com registered or available? Mining.hat.com. Mining-hat. Not .hat. It's not a top-level.
.guru, .clothing, .hat.
Mining-hat.com. All right, Adam says it is registered. Paige says it is. Mike says it is registered. Paige says it's available, and Rick says it's available. All right, whoa, we got a split at least, right? Some differentiation. And it is available, so we have a 2-way tie, Mike and Rick.
No, Paige and Rick.
Oh, Paige and Rick, I'm sorry. Paige and Rick.
I think, Mike, did you have taken?
Mike had taken.
I had taken.
All right, so we've got a 2-way tie, so only Paige and Rick can answer the last question, the bonus question. If mining-hat.com was available, what about miner-hat.com? Miner hat with a dash.com. Registered or available? Oh, you both said taken. You both lose. It's available.
So we're back in now.
I know. No.
Get out of here, Berkens.
That's right.
I don't have any more questions.
We're in the winner's circle, baby.
I don't have any more. I got to go look something up.
How about custom-made miner's hats?
There you go.
The miner's hat king.
All right, custommadehats.com. Rick and Paige, tell me if you think custommadehats.com is registered or available. Custom made hats. All right, Paige says available. Rick says taken.
Have a winner.
And the winner is Rick. It is registered. Fat
2
City
weeks in a
Properties.
row.
I had registered too, so
2 weeks in a row.
I only had one wrong too.
All right, Rick, 2 weeks in a row, baby. Custom made hats that tip the edge for you. All right, we got a bunch of.
All the little people.
We got a bunch of after show topics. I have at least 3 or 4 questions from users who submitted a domain name in the Brandable portfolio last week that wanted to follow up with some questions. We're going to ask Rick if he reconsidered using an AOL account. We're going to talk about a Brandable domain name that Adam saw. And we're going to also talk about his 4D, as in four-dimensional, printer.net. I also want to ask Adam, how the heck did he get an offer for $50,000 on a domain name that he just purchased, thornhill.ca? We're going to find that answer. Any other topics that you guys want to discuss in the after show? We got a full plate.
Why does the after show so long, maybe?
All right, we're going to get to it. Anything you guys want to promote? Anything upcoming? Cool blogs? Anything you want to promote? Adam?
I got nothing.
Nothing. Mike?
I don't have anything to promote.
Yeah, I have nothing either. I announced that the ticker that Francisco and we came up with on domaining is sold out now, so I'll still say it's sold out. So
Yeah, it's
good.
still sold out. How much are you making off of that, Mike? People want to know.
It's $500 a month per string for both the blogs. So it's basically, if it stays sold out the year, it's $60,000 for each of us.
$60,000 a month?
No, a year.
Oh, a year.
Yeah.
Boy, do they need more inventory? Let me know. Paige, what do you have to promote?
We'll keep the names that we put on the outlet last week. We'll keep them on the outlet for 1 more week.
All right. Can I go buy any of your names on the outlet?
All those ones that I had on there today that I talked about that were brandable for the outlet are there at $49, $69, $59, $99, $39.
All right. Rick, anything to promote?
No, but Facebook is up about $5 a share after it was going down today. I think they had blowout earnings, so
good earnings.
I'm looking for that. So I'll date your show, but this would probably had a huge Christmas.
Who owns Facebook? Anybody? Rick?
A lot of it.
A lot of it.
New Star went down a lot today.
I'll take that one. Mark Zuckerberg.
All right, when this airs, we are having DN Seattle on top of the Space Needle. I'm very excited. We're sold out. 65 people who are marketing pros, investors, entrepreneurs, publishers, registrars, registries. We're getting together to meet, network, learn. We've got a keynote speaker, Luke Webster, who runs the Shave Network, including VintageStraightRazor.com, StraightRazor.com, StraightRazors.com. Great guy. He was on as a Sherpa a year ago. He's coming live to talk about where his business is, and it's looking good. So it's going to be an interesting show. I'm going to try and record some audio from that and air it later. If you want to be on the mailing list for a future DN Seattle, we'll probably do another one in a year or so. Go to dnseattle.com, scroll to the very bottom, sign up for the newsletter, and we'll keep you posted. We're thinking about a booze cruise maybe for the next time. If you receive benefit from today's show, please post a comment and thank the Sherpas. I'll be the first one to thank the Sherpas for opening up their portfolios, their purchases, and their insights. Thanks to NameJet for submitting their portfolio and sponsoring the Domain Sherpa Review. Click on the video link below to watch the after show. Submit a single domain name in the politics theme if you haven't done so already. We'll see you next week.